I inhale slowly, and the sound of my own breath fills my ears like a whisper in the dark. It's late, and the bedroom is quiet, save for the hum of the air conditioner against the muggy Carolina night. My palms rest on her bare feet. She always liked how I pressed gently into the soles, easing the tension at the end of a long day. Maybe she still likes it. Her eyes are shut, head tilted back. But there's no tender warmth in the way I touch her now. I do it mechanically, deliberately, as if performing a routine checkup on a stranger. My breathing deepens, and for a moment, I stare at her toes. Memories flood in. The times we laughed in this very bed, the times she told me everything was hours and hours alone. But now my mind is fixed on a browser tab I saw earlier today, a tab that read, "How to convince your husband to divorce for your lover." I remember the feeling that ripped through my gut like a cold blade. My breath hitches, but I keep massaging her feet as if I know nothing. As though this is just another ordinary night in a supposedly happy marriage. I'm Michael Donovan. Folks call me Mike. 45 years of living, most of them spent working 9 to 5, paying my taxes, building up a half-decent life in a half-decent suburb. People say I'm steady, reliable. The kind of man who holds the door open and never forgets an anniversary. I used to be proud of that. When you're younger, you think fulfilling obligations is the definition of being a man. But as the years wear on, you learn the difference between living and just existing in someone else's ideal. Right now, I feel like a caretaker in my own house, performing a role I never volunteered for. She exhales slowly. A quiet moan escapes her lips as I press my thumb into a tender spot. Normally, a sound like that might spark something in me. Arousal, perhaps, or at least the comfort of intimacy. But tonight, it only triggers a hollow ache. My gaze slides up her body, silhouetted by the bedside lamp. She doesn't notice. Her face is serene, maybe even a bit smug if I let my imagination run. I pull my hands away, my chest tightening. For a second, I wonder if she feels my absence, the emptiness, the tension I'm holding under my skin like a coil. I get up. She barely flutters an eyelid. "I'll be back," I say in a low voice. She responds with a non-committal hum. No concern in her tone, no follow-up question. Our bedroom is big enough to feel lonely when the two of us aren't in sync. I grab a shirt from the chair by the closet and slip out into the hallway. The walls hold the pictures of us from our younger years, smiling at the lake, hugging on our wedding day, arms draped around each other like best friends. I haven't had the heart to remove them. I don't know if I will. I head downstairs to the living room. The moonlight cuts across the polished wooden floor, forming a pale rectangle near the sofa. Standing in the darkness, I rake a hand through my thinning hair. Her laptop is on the coffee table, the screen blacked out, sleeping. I can almost feel that damned browser tab waiting inside, like a silent bullet in a loaded gun. My phone is in my pocket, and my mind snaps back to the text messages, the call recordings, the pictures. Wife. Lies. Online. That's what I named the Telegram channel where I posted every last piece of evidence, every betrayal, every humiliating secret. A wave of tension grips me, though not exactly guilt. Something else. An acceptance, maybe. Or a cold readiness for what comes next. I flick on a lamp. The gentle glow reveals the neatly arranged furniture, a place for everything. Everything in its place. The living room is so orderly it feels sterile. Once upon a time, I enjoyed the tidiness. It reminded me we were a solid family. Now it just underscores how we've been playing house while the real rot seeped beneath the surface. I feel my eyes drawn to the reflection in the TV screen, my own face, half in shadow, half illuminated by that single lamp. If someone looked at me now, they might say I appear calm. Truth is, there's an emotion I can't quite name simmering beneath my skin. I remember the day, about a week ago, when I first saw that browser tab. I thought it was some spam, or maybe a terrible joke. But when I clicked on it, I recognized the site, recognized the language. She typed it in herself, searched it, Read it carefully. It said, "How to convince your husband to get a divorce so you can marry your lover." My body went cold, breath turning shallow. I'd already suspected. Hell, I'm not stupid. But suspecting and seeing the raw proof are two very different experiences. That day, I quietly closed the laptop, walked into the bathroom, and splashed water on my face. I remember gripping the sink so tightly my knuckles turned white, repeating to myself, "Steady, Mike. Stay steady." The next day, I purchased a home DNA kit. We have a kid, Stephen, 13 years old, lanky, hair the color of anise. Though over the years people told me, "He's got your eyes, Mike." I never questioned that. I had no reason to. I was there for every milestone. His first word, first bike ride, first black eye from a scuffle at school. Everything that made me proud, and everything that made me worry. I was the dad. Period. And then I got the DNA results back. You know how they send them in these stiff white envelopes, with disclaimers about the limitations of at-home testing. Except there was no disclaiming the simple fact that this was a 0% match. He isn't mine. He never was. The shockwave was immediate and profound. I couldn't breathe for a moment. My entire world rearranged itself without my permission. I told no one, not even Anna. I just walked into the bedroom that evening, the envelope hidden in my jacket pocket, and watched her brush her hair. She smiled at me as if the world was fine. I felt an avalanche of words piling up in my throat, words I wanted to scream. How could you do this? How long have you lied? But I choked them all back. Instead, I swallowed my anger, forced a half smile, and climbed into bed next to her. That night, I barely slept a wink. A few days later, I uncovered the details about her lover, Kevin Moore, a director for cultural events. The same guy who'd been partnering with Anna on a city arts festival. I recalled she had once casually mentioned him over dinner. Some new contact, bright, creative, enthusiastic about synergy, or some nonsense term. Only now do I realize that must have been the spark. It's not like Kevin tried to hide it particularly well. They exchanged messages. They swapped inside jokes. Then it escalated into more explicit territory. I read the texts, heard the phone calls I recorded using a simple forward app. The things Anna said to him, the affectionate words, the things she never said to me in that tone. And then there were the pictures. She looked so alive in them, so full of longing, wearing lingerie I never even knew she owned. I stand there in the living room, recalling all of it like a slideshow. My fingers itch for a cigarette. I quit years ago, but tonight I can't resist. I walk to the kitchen, rummage in a drawer. Sure enough, there's a half-crumpled pack I stashed behind some old coupons. I flick open the lighter and watch the flame dance. The first drag hits my lungs with a comforting burn. Exhaling, I see the thin smoke swirl, fleeting and insubstantial, just like my illusions of a faithful marriage. I step onto the back porch to finish the cigarette. It's humid out here, with a gentle breeze that barely cuts the heat. The wooden boards creak under my weight. In the distant yard, a solar lamp glimmers by the flower beds. Anna planted those flowers last spring, bright azaleas and daffodils. She said it was all for making our house a home. I exhale another plume of smoke and let my mind drift to that day I decided enough was enough. I created a Telegram channel, typed in the name, "Wife Lies," online. Then I started uploading text screenshots, recorded phone calls, photos of secret meetings, ones I took myself after I hired a small-time private investigator. The guy was discreet, showed me pictures of them laughing in a diner, pressed together in a corner booth, her hand on his shoulder. Another photo from the steps of a small theater downtown, where they were presumably scouting a location. She had her fingers laced with his. She looked radiant in a way I hadn't seen in years. It stung, but I gathered it all. Why post it? Because I was finished being a victim. I wanted the whole damned world to see the truth. or at least a slice of that world, the part that thrives on drama. Telegram was just the easiest platform for something like this. Easy to share, easy to keep anonymous. People started joining. Some were strangers, some were acquaintances. Curiosity works faster than any marketing plan. Within hours, the subscriber count climbed. Comments poured in, some sympathetic, some downright savage. But I read every single one. It was my twisted form of therapy. When I come back inside, I flick the ash from the final drag into the sink and run water over it. I can almost taste revenge on my tongue. Metallic, not entirely pleasant, but strangely exhilarating. Upstairs, the lights are off, meaning Anna must have drifted to sleep. I decide to sit on the couch for a bit. My mind wanders to those earliest days of our marriage. We weren't perfect, but I never once doubted her. She was the vibrant one, the social butterfly, while I was the stable anchor. We complemented each other, or so I believed. It's impossible to pinpoint the exact moment things changed. Maybe it was the day we discovered we couldn't have kids naturally, and she insisted we explore other options. I never questioned her when she finally got pregnant. She told me it was via a specialized fertility procedure. I didn't pry. Didn't want to make her uncomfortable. Now, that ignorance feels like the greatest mistake of my life. I lean my head back against the sofa, letting the cigarette's aftertaste linger on my tongue. Outside, a siren wails faintly, maybe an ambulance or a police car. Life goes on as normal for everyone else, while mine has collapsed into a quiet, methodical storm. Morning comes with a dull sunrise. Anna is in her robe at the table, scrolling on her phone. She glances up when I enter, and I catch a flicker of worry in her eyes. "Rough night?" she asks softly, as if bridging the distance between us. I shrug. "Couldn't sleep. You?" She fiddles with the belt of her robe. "I slept all right." A pause, heavy with unspoken tension. "Mike, is everything okay?" I take a sip of coffee and savor the bitterness. The heat scalds my tongue, but I let the pain anchor me. "I'm just tired," I answer. She searches my face, probably noticing the shadows beneath my eyes or the stiff line of my shoulders. I give her nothing else. My composure is a steel cage at this point. Anna presses her lips together, then stands and places her mug in the sink. "All right," she says in a subdued voice. "I've got a meeting downtown about the new festival. I'll be home late." And with that, she heads upstairs to get dressed. Her footsteps are light, but I can almost feel the tension clinging to her like a second skin. I think about confronting her right here, right now, demanding that she explain herself. But I won't. Not yet. Part of me wants her to twist in the wind a little longer. Besides, my plan is already in motion. The unraveling will be public, not just confined to our kitchen. Once she realizes the cat's out of the bag, there will be no going back. I finish my coffee and step outside, rummaging for another cigarette. I let the smoke fill my lungs and watch the neighborhood come to life. Cars backing out of driveways, neighbors walking dogs, the universal hum of daily routines. Nobody would guess what's roiling inside this house or inside me. They see an ordinary suburban man, bleary-eyed from a sleepless night, indulging in a morning smoke. And that's exactly what I want them to see. Time slips by like a slow leak, and late afternoon finds me in my car, driving downtown. I park near one of the big intersections, the kind with flashy electronic billboards overhead, streaming local ads and news. It's a major thoroughfare. Thousands pass by each day. I'm here because of a new billboard that's about to go up. I arranged it through an old acquaintance. He's in the advertising business. I paid extra for a prime location and quick installation. The message is stark, not a brand or a product, but a personal statement I want the city to see. Maybe it's petty, maybe it's savage, but I've come too far to second-guess myself now. I stand on the sidewalk, leaning against a lamppost, a fresh cigarette between my fingers. The traffic rushes by, horns blaring intermittently. My heart pounds in my chest as a crane shifts a massive printed banner onto the billboard frame. Once it's in place, I see the words in bold letters. I survive Eli. Will she survive he or herself? No name, no face, just a stark question. It's cryptic enough for the average onlooker, but for Anna and Kevin, if he's paying attention, the meaning will be crystal clear. My gut twists, a mixture of triumph and something eerily akin to sorrow. I flick the cigarette butt onto the curb and grind it underfoot, ignoring the sidelong glances from passersby. A stiff breeze kicks up, rustling my hair. I wonder if Anna has driven by yet, or if she'll see it during her commute tomorrow. When she does, I imagine she'll know it's from me. The phrase is too pointed, too personal. That evening, I return home. The lights are off except for a single lamp in the living room. Anna's not back yet. No text, no call. I hang my jacket on the coat rack, loosen my tie, and sink into my armchair. The emptiness of the house resonates with me. It's like living in a mausoleum of memories. But I'm calm. Strangely, I'm calmer than I've been in days. It's that cold, surgical detachment I've cultivated, my shield. If I allow myself to break down, I won't be able to execute what needs to happen next. Hours pass. Finally, close to midnight, I hear the door creak open. Anna steps in, shoulders slumped. She flicks on the foyer light, startled to see me sitting in the shadows. We lock eyes, and I notice something akin to fear in her expression. "Mike," she breathes, setting her purse down. "You're up late." I nod, not moving from my chair. "How was the meeting?" She wets her lips, hesitates. "Long. Productive." She tries to manage a tired smile. "Are you going to bed soon?" I hold her gaze. Eventually. Silence. She shifts her weight from foot to foot, and I watch a flicker of worry cross her face. "I saw a billboard today," she says quietly, testing the waters. "Near the downtown exit. It said something about surviving a lie." I remain expressionless. "That's so?" "Yes." It made me think. Her voice trails off. Uncertain. I stand, walk right past her into the kitchen. I open the fridge, grab a bottle of water, and take a long drink. She follows me, tension radiating off her like static. The silence is thick enough to slice. "Mike," she tries again, a quiver in her voice. "Tell me what's going on. You've been so distant. It's like you're somewhere else." I face her, forcing an even tone. "I'm right here, Anna." She exhales, frustration creeping into her features. "Then talk to me. Please." My mind races with 100 possible confrontations. Instead, I step forward, close enough to catch the faint scent of her perfume. "I know," I say quietly. "I know about you and Kevin." She opens her mouth, but no words come out. I see a flicker of panic in her eyes, quickly masked by half-hearted denial. What are you?" I hold up a hand, cutting her off. "Don't insult me by playing dumb." Her face pales. "How long have you?" "Long enough to have proof," I answer. "All of it. Phone calls, messages, pictures. And one more thing." I pause, letting the weight settle. "Stephen's DNA test." That last part hits her like a punch to the gut. She stumbles back a step, her eyes wide. "Oh God. Mike. Don't. Just don't." I say, fighting to keep my voice calm. "I know he's not mine. You lied. For years, you let me believe." My throat constricts. I let out a slow breath, steadying myself. "It's one thing to cheat on me now, but you let me be a father to a child who was never mine. You let me fall in love with that kid, shape my entire identity around him." Tears well in her eyes, and she tries to reach for me. I jerk away, refusing her touch. "Mike, please. I never wanted. I was scared." I laugh, a low and humorless sound. "Save it. I've read your search history. You wanted out. You just couldn't figure out how to do it without tarnishing your perfect image. So you asked the internet for tips on how to make me roll over. She's crying openly now, tears streaming down her cheeks. I swear, it's not like that. I did love you. I do. But everything changed when. My hand slams the counter, but I maintain control over my voice. When Kevin showed up. Right? She doesn't answer. Her silence is all the confirmation I need. I pick up my phone, tap the Telegram app, and hold it so she can see the channel's title. Wife. Lies. Online. Her eyes go wide in horror as she takes in the subscriber count. The posts. People know. I tell her. They've seen the evidence. They know what you did. They know who you are. Her face is ashen. Mike, oh God, what did you do? Her voice breaks on a sob. I grit my teeth, forcing composure. I gave them the truth, Anna. Something you never gave me. She crumples onto a chair, face in her hands. I watch her shoulders shake, but a hollow coldness grips my chest. Part of me thought I'd feel satisfaction at this moment. Instead, I feel a grim emptiness, as though I've just severed a limb. Mike, we can't. I can't, she stammers. I step away, heading for the living room. Get some rest, I say quietly. You'll need it. The next morning, she's gone before I wake. The silence in the house is almost comforting now, a respite. I glance at the pictures on the wall again. My eyes pause on the photo of me, Anna, and Stephen at a baseball game. He was about 7, grinning from ear to ear, a giant foam finger on his hand. I recall the sticky cotton candy, the sunburn I got that day. If I focus too hard on that memory, I can't maintain my numb composure. So I tear my gaze away. I decide to drive around, clear my head. The suburbs give way to the city, and soon enough, I'm in the hustle and bustle of downtown. I'm drawn once more to that intersection with the billboard. It's still there, looming large and cryptic. I survive EDDAE. Will she survive he or herself? People crane their necks to read it. Cars slow down. Drivers gawking. Part of me wonders if this was too much. But then I recall the humiliation burning inside me. And I think, no, not enough. Hours later, I return home to find an empty driveway. I park, climb out of the car, and unlock the door to a quiet house. The place smells vaguely of stale coffee, and I realize Anna must not have made it home yet. Good. I need some time alone. I settle in my armchair, phone in hand, and open the Telegram channel again. I posted a final update this morning. A single line reading. The child is not mine. The comments have exploded. People who once lurked silently are now throwing opinions around. Some offer pity, others condemnation. One user suggests I'm unhinged, that I should take legal action instead of airing dirty laundry. Another user says I'm an inspiration for men who've been wronged. It's bizarre to read these strangers' takes on the personal tragedy that is my life. My phone buzzes, a call from an unknown number. I hesitate, then answer. Mike Donovan, a male voice on the other end. Tense, agitated. Mike, it's Kevin Moore. A shot of adrenaline hits me. How'd you get my number? I ask, controlling my tone. He sighs. Anna gave it to me a long time ago, back when we... Look, I don't want to fight you. I need to talk to you. I clench my jaw. We have nothing to discuss. Please, I know about the posts, the photos, everything. You don't have to do this. My lips form a humorless smile. Do what exactly? Tell the truth. He sucks in a breath. I'm not proud of what happened. But Anna, she felt stuck. We connected over our work. One thing led to another. I never wanted to blow up my marriage. Because that's exactly what you did. I grit out the words. Kevin's voice cracks. I'm sorry, man. I really am. But please, can we figure out a way to handle this privately? People are talking. It's hurting Anna's professional reputation. It could kill her career, not to mention what it's doing to Stephen. The mention of Stephen sets my teeth on edge. Don't you dare bring him into this. If you cared about him, you would have considered the consequences before you climbed into bed with his mother. Are you even his father? He's silent for a beat. Then, softly, I don't know. Anna never told me he was mine. It happened so long ago. But if he is, I'm prepared to take responsibility. Something snaps inside me, but I keep my voice cold. Responsibility? You're a decade too late for that, Kevin. He exhales, frustration evident. So, what are you going to do now? I pause, letting the tension draw out. I'm going to do whatever I want. If that means leaving that billboard up for months, or posting more evidence, or dragging your name through the mud, I'll do it. I've lost too much to hold back now. He tries one last time. Mike, listen. I hang up and toss my phone onto the coffee table, breathing hard. The nerve of him. Acting like he's the voice of reason, as though he hasn't already incinerated my entire life. My heart pounds in my ears, but I'm in control. I can't afford to lose my temper. Because if I let my anger consume me, I risk losing what little sense of self I have left, and I won't give him or Anna that satisfaction. It's near dusk when Anna finally returns. She looks exhausted, dark circles under her eyes. Without a word, she slips off her shoes, sets down her purse, and walks into the living room. I'm there, arms folded, standing by the window. She glances at me uncertainly. Kevin called me. She begins, voice shaking. He said you spoke. I stare out the window. He wanted me to bury the hatchet, for your reputation's sake. A bitter chuckle escapes me. You two really are peas in a pod. She takes a hesitant step forward. Mike, you have every right to be furious. I understand that. But think about Stephen. He's 13. He's an innocent. He's caught in the middle. He doesn't even know any of this yet. I turn, meeting her gaze with ice in my eyes. You should have thought of that years ago, Anna, before dragging me into this web of lies. Now it's too late. He'll find out eventually. The truth always comes out. She trembles, tears threatening again. I never meant to hurt you, or Stephen. It was a mistake, okay? A long time ago. But I swear, at some point, I really did love you, Mike. Things just changed and I couldn't fix it. I study her face in the fading light. She looks so different from the woman I used to know. Or maybe I never knew her at all. You want me to vanish quietly, sign the divorce papers, pretend none of this ever happened. That's what you were researching. Her tears fall freely. I was desperate, Kevin, and I don't even know what to say to you anymore. But I do care. I never wanted to humiliate you. An odd calm settles over me. Yes, you did. Maybe not with intention, but that's the result. And now, I'm returning the favor. I brush past her, heading upstairs. You'll get your divorce, Anna. That's not a question. But not on your terms. In the bedroom, I close the door, leaning my forehead against it. My hands are shaking. All this emotional rubble threatens to bury me. I force myself to breathe slowly, in and out, clinging to that cold composure like a lifeline. On the dresser, my phone buzzes again. Another wave of notifications. I ignore them. Instead, I pull out a small duffel bag and begin packing. A few shirts, pants, socks, underwear. Enough for a few days away. I'm not sure where I'm going. Maybe a cheap motel. Maybe one of those extended stay places. Doesn't matter. I can't keep sharing this roof with her. I don't want to see her heartbreak or her guilt or her excuses. I need solitude. A place to gather myself for whatever comes next. I sling the bag over my shoulder and open the bedroom door to find Anna standing in the hallway, arms wrapped around herself. She looks at the bag and her lips tremble. You're leaving. Just for a while, I say curtly. I brush past her again, ignoring the tears in her eyes. She follows me down the stairs. Mike, we can talk about this. We should do counseling, something. For Stephen's sake. A short laugh escapes me. It's a bit late for counseling. The damage is done. I reach the front door and turn back to her. Tell Stephen I love him. Because I do, Anna. I always will. But this, us, we're done. I walk out, letting the door shut behind me. My heart feels like a weight in my chest, but a strange clarity settles over my mind. Mornings will come and go. I'll figure out the next steps. Maybe we'll end up in court. Maybe we'll sign papers quietly. But in this moment, I feel free. Not happy, not victorious, just unshackled from the lie that's been strangling me. I drive aimlessly for a while. The city lights blur past in streaks of red and white. Eventually, I pull into a parking lot of a modest motel on the outskirts. The neon sign hums. Inside, the clerk barely glances at me, just checks me in, hands me a key. Room 206. Second floor, facing the street. I flick on the light. The walls are a dull beige, the carpet a tired floral pattern. A queen-sized bed, a small table, a single chair. Fine, it'll do. I drop my duffel bag by the bed and collapse onto the mattress, pressing my hands to my eyes. I think about the billboard. I survived the lie. Will she survive herself? The words loom in my mind. Then I recall the Telegram channel. Some of the comments were cheering me on, others calling me heartless. I wonder which side is right. But then I remind myself that I stopped caring about moral judgments the moment I realized how deeply I'd been betrayed. Sleep comes in fits. My dreams are crowded with images. Anna and Kevin locked in an embrace. Stephen running toward me calling Dad. The billboard flashing overhead like a judgment from the sky. I wake multiple times, drenched in sweat, the motel's air conditioner rattling in the corner. By the time dawn filters through the threadbare curtains, I feel more exhausted than when I arrived. I force myself to shower, dress, and leave. My phone pings with messages from Anna, from numbers I don't recognize. Kevin's number tries calling again. I ignore it, stepping into the morning light. The faint smell of asphalt and coffee grounds from a nearby shop stirs me awake. I start the car, drive to a diner, and settle at the counter with a coffee and a plate of bacon and eggs. The waitress, an older woman with tired eyes, refills my cup without a word. She must sense I'm not in a talkative mood. After breakfast, I check my phone out of morbid curiosity. Anna's messages are emotional, apologetic, borderline desperate. She begs me to talk to her, to reconsider. She asks about Stephen, if I plan to see him, if I want to talk to him about the DNA results. A wave of grief hits me. Stephen is an innocent party in all this. He's a good kid, my kid in every way that matters except biology. And I do love him. If anything keeps me awake at night, it's the thought of losing him. I scroll further. There's a new wave of activity in the Telegram channel. People are posting messages about seeing the billboard. They're piecing together rumors, speculation. Some have apparently found Anna's social media accounts. The intrusion into her personal life is intense, as I intended. A couple of them even mention Kevin by name, linking him to local news about the cultural festival. I read it all, feeling that same strange mix of satisfaction and emptiness. I leave the diner, pay in cash, and head to a local park. It's a small expanse of green near the river, relatively empty on weekdays. I park under a tall oak, kill the engine, and crack the window. The air is thick with humidity, but I welcome the closeness to nature, the scent of wet grass. Leaning back in my seat, I try to think about the future. I can't live in a motel forever. Maybe I'll find a short-term rental. Then there's the question of a lawyer, dividing assets, setting up visitation, or something with Stephen. The swirl of logistics almost drowns me, but at least I have a plan. Keep calm, stay rational, move forward. A knock on my window startles me. I jolt upright and see Anna standing there, eyes bloodshot from crying. She must have tracked my phone or recognized my car. I sigh, roll down the window slightly. Anna, not now. She pleads, can we talk? Just a minute. I'm losing my mind. The fatigue in her voice, the torment in her eyes, it all triggers a mix of pity and resentment in me. Against my better judgment, I open the door and step out. We stand there under the oak tree, cicadas buzzing in the heat. She's shaking. I went to the motel, but you'd already left. Please, Mike, I'm sorry for everything. I want to fix this. My anger simmers. Fix. There's nothing left to fix, Anna. The marriage is dead. You killed it the moment you decided I wasn't enough. Her voice breaks. What about Stephen? You're his father in every way. He loves you, needs you. Don't punish him for my mistakes. I close my eyes, inhaling deeply. He's the only reason I've stayed as long as I have. But I need time. I can't just flip a switch and pretend I'm okay. She steps closer, her face streaked with tears. Mike, I hate that it came to this. I never dreamed it would blow up so violently. Kevin, he was just. He listened to me, understood me. And yes, we made a horrible mistake. But can't we at least find some path that's not total destruction? I clench my fists, remembering the years of lies. Did you ever think about telling me the truth? Even once. Her eyes fall. I was too scared. I thought you'd leave me. And then Stephen. Stephen was never mine, physically. I snap, my voice a hushed roar. But you never gave me the chance to choose whether I wanted to raise someone else's child. You decided for me. She winces as though struck. I know, it was wrong. But please, for his sake, can't we? I hold up a hand. Stop. I'm not making any decisions right now. I can't even look at you without feeling numb. She hesitates, then nods, tears clinging to her lashes. I understand. We stand in silence. The park around us feels eerily still, as though nature itself is holding its breath. Finally, I gesture to my car. I'm leaving, I say. Don't follow me. Don't track me. I'll be in touch about the next steps when I'm ready. She offers no argument. She just hugs herself and gives a silent nod. I get back into my car, start the engine, and drive away, the image of her broken figure receding in the rearview mirror. Over the next few days, I find a short-term rental, a small furnished studio near the outskirts of town. It's nothing fancy, but it's private, and it gives me space to think. I speak briefly to a lawyer who assures me that, despite the complicated child situation, I have legal recourse. The phrase alienation of affection flickers through my mind. Though it's rarely used, I'm not sure I want to drag this into a courtroom. My sense of vengeance has already done enough damage. At the same time, the Telegram channel continues to grow in popularity, morphing into a micro-sensation of scandal. Strangers feast on the daily updates, though I've posted little after that last bombshell. It's more than enough for them to spin theories, gossip, and judgments. My phone has been blowing up with notifications, but I mostly ignore them now. Even revenge gets stale when you realize it doesn't heal anything. I'm starting to discover that the hollow victory only magnifies the emptiness inside. Then one evening, while I'm scrolling aimlessly through the channel, a direct message from Kevin comes in. He says he wants to meet, just once, to talk about the fallout. At first, I consider ignoring him. Then I recall that deep down, there's a man on the other side of this fiasco, a man who might be Stephen's biological father. And whether I like it or not, we share a link through Anna's duplicity, so I agree to meet him in a public place, a small bar near the interstate, low profile. He arrives wearing a simple button-down shirt and jeans, hair slightly disheveled. His eyes hold a mix of guilt and determination. We sit in a quiet corner booth. The bartender gives us a quick glance, presumably checking if we're going to order. Kevin asks for a beer. I request a soda, not trusting myself with alcohol right now. For a moment, neither of us speaks. Then Kevin clears his throat. Thanks for meeting me. I know it's awkward. Understatement of the century. Say what you came to say, I reply, voice measured. He rubs his palms on his jeans. Look, I never meant to ruin your life. I fell for Anna, yes, but she never told me Stephen was mine. If she had. He trails off. We might have done things differently. I snort quietly. Really? Did you consider the fact that she was married? That might have been your first clue not to go down that path. He nods, eyes down. I know, it was wrong. But the way she talked about you, you were distant, uninterested in her work. At least that's what she claimed. And we connected on so many creative ideas. Things got intense. I swirl the straw in my soda, letting the ice clink. So intense that you hopped into bed and conceived a kid. That's more than just intense. He winces. That happened a long time ago, apparently. Neither of us realized it might be mine. At least she never said anything to me. I'm not defending it, just telling you the circumstances. I sigh heavily. I'm tired of rehashing the details. You wanted to talk about the fallout. So let's talk. He takes a sip of his beer, mustering courage. The festival board found out about the scandal. They're reconsidering my position. Anna's position too. Sponsors are uneasy about the negative PR. I could lose everything I've worked for. My jaw tightens. You expect sympathy from me. He meets my gaze with a resigned shrug. No. But let's be honest. We're both men who share a messed up connection now. Anna's hurting too, but she still wants to salvage her career and protect Stephen from the worst of this. I know you're angry. I cut him off. Anger doesn't begin to describe it. But I've reached a point where all that rage just feels empty. I posted everything. I put up that billboard. I forced the city to gawk at our dirty laundry. And yet, I'm not satisfied. Nothing changes the fact that I was betrayed for over a decade. Kevin nods, face serious. I get it. I deserve your hatred. But consider, for Stephen's sake, if there's any chance we can find a civil way to handle this. If we find out I'm his biological father, then I need to figure out how to be present for him. But I won't push it if he's better off with you. Silence stretches. I recall Stephen's face, his voice, the boy I raised. My chest aches. I don't know what the right move is, I finally say. All I know is I can't keep living this farce. Kevin finishes his beer, sets the bottle down. I get that, and I respect whatever you decide. But Anna and Stephen are in the crossfire, and I'm partly to blame. I'm sorry, Mike. I stare at him, trying to see beyond the label lover. He's just a man. A flawed, arrogant man who let lust override decency. But not a demon. I can't forgive you. I say quietly. Not now. Maybe not ever. But I won't stand in the way if you decide to pursue paternity tests. That's for you, Anna, and Stephen to figure out. He nods slowly. Thank you. That's more than I expected. I toss some cash on the table for my soda. We're done here. I stand, and Kevin rises too. We exchange a tight, pained look, an acknowledgement of the devastation we've both contributed to. Then I walk out, not looking back. In the following weeks, life becomes a blur of legal paperwork, tense phone calls, and a handful of awkward visits with Stephen. He's confused, sensing something terrible is happening. I haven't told him the truth. Anna says she wants to handle that, but I don't trust her. At the same time, I'm not ready to break a 13-year-old's heart with a revelation that might scar him for life. Each time I see him, he asks, "Dad, when are you coming home?" And I have no answer. The Telegram channel is still up there, but I've lost the urge to feed it more. People seem to have moved on to other scandals. There's always fresh gossip somewhere. The billboard remains, but I hear from my contact it'll be replaced soon by a more conventional ad. The question, I survived the lie. Will she survive herself? Will fade from public view? And maybe that's for the best. I drive around the city at night sometimes, aimless, trying to quiet my mind. The memories swarm like restless ghosts. The foot massages, the inside jokes, the plans we had for retirement. All illusions now. I flick the radio on. Let some old country tunes fill the car. The words are about heartache and betrayal, ironically matching my life. Sometimes I park at a scenic overlook, watch the distant glow of skyscrapers, and wonder how to rebuild from the ashes. Then one evening, I get a text from Anna. We need to talk about Stephen. Simple, direct. My stomach tightens. I agree to meet her at the house, though I dread stepping inside that place again. When I arrive, the porch light is on, and I spot Anna through the window, pacing the living room. She greets me quietly, ushers me inside. The house still looks the same, only now it feels even emptier. We sit on opposite ends of the couch. She wrings her hands, eyes downcast. I told Stephen part of the truth, she begins. Not everything about Kevin, but that you and I are separating. He's devastated. I rub my face, exhaustion weighing me down. Did you mention the DNA? She shakes her head. Not yet. I can't find the right words. I don't want him to hate me. My anger flares, but I hold it in check. Maybe you should have thought of that before. She nods, tears glossing her eyes. I deserve that. Silence. Then she whites her cheeks. He wants to see you. He's blaming himself, thinking something he did made you leave. A pang of regret shoots through me. I'll talk to him, but not tonight. She exhales shakily. Thank you. Then she looks at me, really looks at me. Mike, is there any part of you that might let go of this hatred? Could we ever be civil, for Stephen's sake? Even if we can't stay married, maybe we can. I close my eyes, leaning my head back on the couch. I don't know how to be civil with someone who lied to me for years, Anna. I can't pretend it's okay. Her tears fall freely. I know, she whispers, but I can't undo the past. I can only try to atone for it now. We sit there, the hush of the house broken only by her soft sobs. I realize how weary I am, how the bitterness is corroding me from within. Mistrust, betrayal, they stick like tar. But I also realize revenge hasn't healed me. It offered a short-lived sense of power, then left me hollow. My eyes drift to the hallway, to the family photos lining the wall. I see Stephen's grin again, and it cuts me deeper than anything else. Finally, I stand. I'll figure out a plan to talk to Stephen. I say, voice tight. As for you and me, let's settle the divorce as soon as possible. She nods, lip trembling. Of course. I leave the house, stepping into the cool night air. The sky is clear, stars overhead, indifferent to the messy dramas below. I drive back to my studio, ignoring the phone that buzzes with more messages. Once inside, I drop onto the bed, fully dressed, staring at the ceiling. No tears come. I'm too depleted for that. My life has become a lesson in how easily everything can unravel if you trust too blindly. Weeks roll on. Papers are filed, negotiations hashed out. I speak with Stephen carefully, explaining that his mom and I are divorcing because we grew apart. He sobs in my arms, begs me to come home. I hold him tight, my own eyes burning with unused tears, but I keep them locked behind a wall. I don't want him to see my weakness. He doesn't need to know the gritty details yet. Maybe someday when he's older, if he really wants the truth. Kevin tries to reach me again. Apparently, a paternity test confirms he's Stephen's biological father. I don't respond. Let him talk to Anna. It's their tangled mess. Mine too, in a twisted sense. But I'm done playing middleman. My main focus is forging a future that doesn't revolve around secrets or illusions. And then, finally, the day comes when I sign the last of the divorce papers. Anna and I meet at the lawyer's office, a sterile room with cold fluorescent lighting. She looks as though she's aged a decade in a matter of months. I probably look the same. Neither of us says much. When the signing is complete, the lawyer offers a perfunctory sorry it came to this. We leave, stepping into the sunlight. Anna pauses on the sidewalk, turns to me. "Mike," she says softly, her voice trembling with the weight of everything left unsaid. "I know I've lost you forever. But for what it's worth, I am sorry. And I'll always cherish the years we had, even if they were built on my lie." I nod, swallowing hard. "Goodbye, Anna." She opens her mouth as if to say more, then closes it. We part ways. That's how a decade and a half of marriage ends, on a city street with no fanfare, just regret. I walk away, my heart pounding, a strange chill creeping down my spine. On the drive home, I pass by the big intersection downtown. The billboard is being replaced by an ad for some new fast food sandwich. The question, "I survived the lie. Will she survive herself?" is gone, peeled away like old wallpaper. In its place is a grinning cartoon burger. When I get back to my studio, I collapse into the rickety chair by the desk. Something compels me to open the Telegram channel one last time. Scrolling through it, I see my final post about the child not being mine. The avalanche of comments. People urging me to find peace, others egging me on to do more damage. But I've done enough. I type a brief farewell message. I got my vengeance. It didn't fill the void. I'm done. Then I delete every post, one by one. It takes a while, but I methodically wipe the channel clean. Once finished, I remove the channel entirely, as if it never existed. I sit there, alone in the quiet. No sense of triumph. No sense of closure, either, just the knowledge that I've cut the last thread tying me to that chapter. The pain remains, the memories remain, but perhaps now they'll start to scab over. Maybe in time, I'll find a way to be at peace with Stephen, to maintain a relationship that isn't overshadowed by a lie I never asked for. Outside, the sun sinks low, painting the sky a deep orange. I step onto the small balcony of my studio, lean on the metal railing. A breeze stirs the trees below, carrying the muted sounds of traffic. I think about the man I was, and the man I've become. I think about the illusions I used to hold dear, love, fidelity, the belief that hard work and devotion guarantee loyalty. Now I know better. Life is more fragile than we realize, and trust is the costliest commodity of all. I light one last cigarette, letting the smoke trail into the evening air. I reflect on everything that's happened, the betrayal, the revenge, the emptiness of victory. I haven't forgiven Anna, and I may never, but at least I'm free of the lie that defined my life for so long. And maybe, just maybe, there's a future for me beyond this sorrow. I inhale one final drag, flick the ash, and watch the tiny ember fade into the twilight. Then I go inside, close the door, and let the night wrap me in its quiet promise that tomorrow is another day.